It was the nice kid in class that takes his backpack off, folds his jacket, and then commences to punch the bully in the face.
Are you effing kidding me? And they should have dropped that F-bomb. We're in year 9 and no one knows how to cover the audacity. The audacity is that someone should have said, stop it, stop.
Oh! There is no doubt in my mind, however Governor Walz did in terms of sincerity, that Vance won this debate.
Does Governor Walz have a problem with the truth? No.
They were talking at one point, Vance wanted to correct something about how Haitians got into this country. And he was right. And the moderators wouldn't let him correct it. It's very interesting.
But at the beginning, the two issues driving the campaign right now are Harris has a big deficit on the economy. Harris has a big deficit on immigration. And Republicans were happy tonight and Democrats a little bit nervous that on those two issues, Vance carried it.
J.D. Vance is much more experienced at this, at public speaking, at defending himself, at pivoting.
It's the audacity. I agree with you that this may be the only chance people have to see the difference.
Oh, man, the frustration by the liberal news media is so amazing to watch. And Coach Tim needed a new playbook last night. He got on the debate stage. He was propped up. He was supposed to be prepared and huggable and lovable and likable and all those things to all people. And it was a masterclass. J.D. Vance played Mr. Nice Guy, but just at the right time, he delivered the knockout punch. That's what happened. One knockout punch, J.D. Vance. Epic to see. We're going to go through a bunch of the clips, all of the highlights, so you don't have to dig around. And you've got the firepower so you can nuke your neighbors when they put out their white dudes for Harris signs. Stand by.
Did he make a mistake? You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, Margaret, diplomacy is not a dirty word, but I think that's something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump, who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years. And the answer is your running mate, not mine.
In the very beginning of the debate, Tim Walz made a concerted effort to blame Donald Trump for every single problem that the Harris-Biden administration has caused over the last 3.5 years. And J.D. Vance took him to the woodshed and flipped the script. I don't even think he really needed to do that. But in just a 15-second takedown, he reversed all the blame. And you can see Coach Tim was not ready for this reversal. The next big topic that J.D. Vance hit Tim with is the hurricane situation and the chaos that has ensued from a White House that has not responded.
First of all, let's start with the hurricane, because it's an unbelievable, unspeakable human tragedy. I just saw today, actually, a photograph of two grandparents on a roof with a 6-year-old child, and it was the last photograph ever taken of them because the roof collapsed and those innocent people lost their lives. And I'm sure Governor Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those innocent people, our prayers go out to them, and we want as robust and aggressive as a federal response as we can get to save as many lives as possible, and then, of course, afterwards, to help the people in those communities rebuild. I mean, these are communities that I love. Some of them I know very personally in Appalachia, all across the Southeast. They need their government to do their job. And I commit that when Donald Trump is president again, the government will put the citizens of this country first when they suffer from a disaster.
That's what's wrong with the and that's what's wrong with the current situation. Americans are second-class citizens. The people coming here, from various countries, they're put first. The disasters overseas in Ukraine and Israel, they're put first. The American people are second class. We are, oh, by the way, and we get the breadcrumbs. We get the cast-offs. We get the leftovers. Think about East Palestine, Ohio. Think about Hawaii. Now think about North Carolina, Georgia, Appalachia, all the chaos that's ensuing there. Think about Chicago. Think about New York City. Last but not least, think about veterans. Why are we as the American people second-class citizens? Think about the chaos that is ensuing from this longshoreman strike. Many of you are going to go without while we send supplies and food and money to places around the world that don't like us.
The governor mentioned that President Trump has called climate change a hoax. Do you agree?
Well, look, what the president has said is that if the Democrats, in particular Kamala Harris and her leadership, if they really believe that climate change is serious, what they would be doing is more manufacturing and more energy production in the United States of America, and that's not what they're doing. So clearly, Kamala Harris herself doesn't believe her own rhetoric on this. If she did, she would actually agree with Donald Trump's energy policies. Now,
J.D. Vance, another home run. If you truly cared about climate change, you would worry about our shipping and manufacturing being made overseas and then transported here. Wouldn't it cut down on some of these greenhouse gases, this carbon that we're committing, if we made everything here? The traffic, the sustainability, the transportation would limit everything. The Democrat Party was exposed once again last night by J.D. Vance for the lies and the hypocrisy that they preach and they want to sell to you. Why has Kamala Harris not said a word about the manufacturing in India and China? They have no regulation there. They continue to do exactly what they've done. Make dirty products and ship them around the world to us. And right now they can't even do that because the ports on the East Coast are closed.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies. 94 executive orders suspending deportations, decriminalizing illegal aliens, massively increasing the asylum fraud that exists in our system. That has opened the floodgates. And what it's meant is that a lot of fentanyl is coming into our country. I had a mother who struggled with opioid addiction and has gotten clean. I don't want people who are struggling with addiction to be deprived of their second chance because Kamala Harris let in fentanyl into our communities at record levels. So you've got to stop.
J.D. Vance with another great takedown. If you want to make America great again, which I kind of think Kamala Harris has started to allude to, and I'm ready to see her in a red hat, you've got to secure our border. You have to. With the influx of all these pharmacists that are coming in, we have to secure the border. I'm sure there are many of you that are watching this video that have been affected by things around the United States out of your control that was manufactured somewhere else and brought here illegally. J.D. Vance with another slam dunk in one of the most brutal and amazing displays of facts. J.D. Vance rips and shreds Tim Walz on the First Amendment, the same First Amendment that the Democrat Party wants to limit because they don't want you to find out things they don't want you to know.
But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation.
And big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. But you guys attack us.
Don't you love how CNN immediately interjects when Tim Walz puts his foot in his mouth? It's absolutely amazing. And J.D. Vance bodied him on the First Amendment.
This is a guy who's proposed shipping more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to make the American people more reliant on garbage energy instead of good American energy, and has proposed defunding the police just as Kamala Harris does. I think it's interesting, actually. They make an interesting tag team because, of course, Tim Walz allowed rioters to burn down Minneapolis in the summer of 2020, and then the few who got caught, Kamala Harris helped bail them out of jail. So it is more instructive for what it says about Kamala Harris that she doesn't care about the border, she doesn't care about crime, she doesn't care about American energy, and most importantly, she doesn't care about the Americans who have been made to suffer under those policies. This is a guy who's proposed...
How wrong was J.D. Vance? I don't think at all. He made an absolute point. They make a great pair. Tim allows them to burn it down. Kamala gets him out of jail. Perfect point. Game, set, match.
It's the audacity. I agree with you that we're in year 9 and no one knows how to cover the audacity. The audacity is that someone should have said, stop it, stop. Are you effing kidding me? And they should have dropped that F-bomb, right? I mean, they should have just, this is a debate. This may be the only chance people have to see the difference. And instead, I mean, I'll go back to my toothpicks. J.D. Vance just put one little toothpick on top of the other and said, and I'm for this and I'm for this. And I'm so sorry those women died. They died because of Donald Trump. We're in year 9 and no one knows how to cover the audacity. The audacity is that someone should have said, stop it, stop.
The frustration on MSNBC was worth the price of admission. I've never seen CNN, MSNBC, hell, even Geraldo, all come together in agreement that Tim Walz lost. And it's over for the Democrat Party. It's definitely over for Tim Walz. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Democrat Party makes a move to replace him, because he was exposed last night for just how incompetent he is and just for the type of vice president you would get negotiating with foreign leaders that hate America. Is Tim Walz the coach that you want on the battlefield when you send your friends, family, loved ones, and kids to serve their country? I don't believe so. Take care. Vet Bikers out.